For wrestling diehards only, this is the Idaho Mat Chat Prepcast on IdahoSports.com.
That's right. Welcome in. It is another edition of the Idaho Mat Chat Prepcast, coming to you live on the IdahoSports.com YouTube channel, Facebook page, X account, Instagram account, and the Idaho Wrestling News Facebook page as well. You, of course, thanks for being with us live tonight on IdahoSports.com. You can, of course, watch the Idaho Mat Chat Prepcast on replay anytime at those destinations. You can also listen to the Idaho Mat Chat Prepcast online at IdahoSports.com, along with pretty much anywhere you download and subscribe to podcasts. That could be Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, etc. The Idaho Mat Chat Prepcast is brought to you in part by, and really all of our IdahoSports.com wrestling coverage is brought to you by Green Solutions. Green Solutions Cleaning and Restoration. Two brothers born in Rexburg that have been blessed to find a way to work with one another. Their dad put them on the wrestling mat at 5 years old, and throughout their childhood, they had a lot of success in both high school and college. And through wrestling, they learned that having success not only takes hard work, but it's all about putting in more time than your opponent as well. And they've certainly done that in their business. They put in the time and energy to make them great at what they do, which has given them an edge and can help all of their customers have a great experience. They are the premium carpet cleaning company in the area, and their main focus over the last 3 years has been in water damage, emergencies, and disasters. Nobody wants to wake up to a foot of water in the basement. And so with Green Solutions, they've learned how to de-escalate the situation and help the customer through the difficult time. They say, we love East Idaho and are grateful for this area and our loyal customers. That's Green Solutions. My name is Brandon Bainey. Let's welcome you to our panel of experts tonight to break down the great sport of wrestling here in the state of Idaho. Joining us live from the Treasure Valley is Al Fontes. What's going on, Al?
Not much. Happy to be here. Once again, this past weekend, there's been really a shakeup in the rankings. A lot of, I don't want to call them upsets. They're just putting it online to mat. It's making it interesting. But at the end of the day, it's going to come down to peaking at the right time. So there's going to be some real good competition come into the year.
Yeah, friendly reminder, the fresh rankings post tomorrow on IdahoSports.com. Top 6 individuals in each weight class, in each classification, and the top 5 or sometimes 10 teams overall. And, of course, our top 10 pound for pound. I'm very interested to see how those rankings look. Guys are jumping weight classes, moving around all over the place. That's going to be can't miss. That's tomorrow on IdahoSports.com. Hey, this guy was sick last week. He's on the mend, feeling, maybe not 100%, but he's at 85, and 85% of Brian is better than 100% of me any night. So we'll take it. Joining us from East Idaho is Brian Zollinger. Brian, welcome in.
What's going on, diehards? It's good to be back. Fun week of wrestling. You guys did an amazing job last week. It was a fun show watching, kind of different perspective, but glad to be back for sure.
Brian had the itch to get back into the podcasting chair after sitting on the sidelines last week, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a lot happening too. I can't wait for those rankings. There were some great matchups this week, and the team races are kind of shaken out, and you even got a good look at some of the B teams this week at different tournaments. So that's going to be fun to see how that plays out.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Hey, I see we've got one like. It was actually a love on Facebook. It is the season of love. Valentine's Day is not that far away, guys. So for our
almost forgot.
Yeah, don't forget about that, Al. You got to get a nice gift, get dinner reservations, all that good stuff. But as you're hanging out tonight, watching this on Facebook or YouTube or X or wherever, if you could hit that like button or even that love button, hey, we love it. So if you could hit that and then subscribe on YouTube and share this when it's all said and done, that will help everybody find the Mat Chat Prepcast a little easier on replay on social media as they're scrolling through, I don't know, cat videos and whatever else people watch on social media. So we appreciate you with the likes and the shares. It definitely helps out. And if you're hanging out live tonight, we want to hear from you in the chat. Let us know where you're watching from, what team you're repping. Give your favorite athlete, coach, school a shout out, or if you've got a question for our panel of experts, throw it in the chat. We'll throw it up on the screen. We really want you guys to drive the conversation. So we would love to hear from you as you're hanging out in the chat tonight as well. All right, guys, we always start the show with the best thing that we saw from the past week of wrestling competition. Brian, since you had the week off, I will let you bat leadoff here tonight.
Right on. Well, I saw so many good things again this weekend, and we were talking earlier. I think the best thing I see are all these kids that are chasing great matches. I don't know for sure. You can't say if that's why they did it, but example, Red Halverson, you had Jake Mesher bump up a weight to 150. I'm assuming to get that match with Sean Hall. Hall comes out victorious, but then it made it so you had two Mesher brothers in the finals, the freshman at 144 and then Jake at 150. And I just love that. Just watch. We've talked about it before. Jolie Slider used to do that. Just go out and find those tough matches. And there's a couple dozen kids that do it every tournament, just bump up a weight or cut down a weight just to get them head-to-head matchups. And I love this sport for that. Is you're just going out and it's not about the win or loss. It's go out and challenge yourself. So props to those kids that go out and chase those tough matches.
Yeah, I love that. You don't want to avoid the competition. You want to go seek it out. That's for sure. Al, what was the best thing that you saw from the past week?
I mean, touching on what he said that Red Halverson had a lot of great matches, but I know we're going to talk about the women's, but I was paying attention to the Big Mountain Girls Tournament in Burley. She's a sophomore. She placed 6th at state. Whitney Cothra at 120s. She's ranked number 4, beat by a score of 8-6, Ali Slansara from Buell. So I've been watching Whitney since she was in middle school. Every year she's climbing, working hard, getting tough, and believing in herself. So it just shows you got to continue to improve. And I have to say her match with Ali, she went after it. So she's getting better as the season goes on.
Yep, no doubt about it. The best thing that I saw, guys, from the past week of competition, we do have our first comment in the chat here as well from Jesse Myers. Brock Armstrong is killing it. The Coeur d'Alene Viking, of course, the North Idaho Rumble. You would think with the North Idaho Rumble in my backyard, that's where I'd go with the best thing that I saw. But I'm going to throw a curveball at you guys tonight. I'm going to the Red Halverson Invite down in Minico, and this is more on the individual side, but TJ Collier from Nampa, a perfect 4-0 in the heavyweight division, 4 pins as well. Just obliterated the 285-pound bracket at the Red Halverson over in Minico. So TJ Collier from Nampa, not a guy that we give a ton of shout outs to on the show. So I always like to single out the individuals that haven't been on my radar that all of a sudden demand my attention. And TJ certainly fits that bill, Al.
No, he definitely will challenge for a state title this year. I mean, he beat Colin Bailey from Rocky. I can tell you that kid is strong. He's a 2-time state placer, and he's hard to move around, but he handled him really well and went out there like he was wanting to win. So, yeah, Sam, kudos to him.
Yep. Here's Mike Scholes in the chat, guys, our resident Post Falls Trojan. Shout out to all the big boys, the 285s for sure. Yeah, that's 4 pins at 285, Brian. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, that's going to be a fun weight to watch. I mean, it looks like, Reeves from Hillcrest has been out a while. Bagley up in Lewiston looks great. Bomba, Sandpoint, Collier, Marcus Arias there placed, I think, 3rd or 4th, probably 4th at the Red Halverson. I mean, that's going to be a 5A heavyweight battle. Is going to be fun to watch.
I agree.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, since we're at the Red Halverson, let's just go ahead and stay there. This was, this is always one of the signature late season events hosted by Minico. Really a who's who of 5A and 4A schools there competing. When we look at the team scores, Nampa ends up winning the team title, guys, 189.5 points. Madison comes in second. They finished 12 points back. Nampa had 3 first-place finishers. Madison had 2. Al, we were kind of talking pre-show. Brandon Edstrom not quite back yet for Madison. You think if he's probably with the Bobcats, gives them that 3rd champion and probably pushes them just past Nampa.
Yeah, possibly. It's really, they would have been right. I mean, they were in contention probably throughout. I mean, this, Brian, you probably saw that they were in contentions throughout. It really probably came down to bonus points, a lot of it, but definitely would have made a big difference. Both those teams are going to be in the mix for a trophy this year.
Yeah, no doubt about it. With Edstrom, you think point total, they might have pulled it off. It would have been close. They had both Hansen brothers were in the tournament. That's going to hurt Madison some. I just, still heartbroken that it looks like the Hansens aren't going to get to compete at, state and district. That's going to hurt Madison some. That's a potential champion finalist that they're losing, and the younger Hansen brother adds points there. But 5A, that was a good showing, really. I mean, really, you have the top 4 or 5 teams. You got Nampa, then Minico's next 5A. Now, throwing a wrench in it, you had Middleton place ahead of both Bishop Kelly and Blackfoot. That hasn't reflected in the rankings. We talked about Middleton a little last week on the show. That's a solid squad there, and they could throw that district. BK and Middleton, they might beat each other up a little bit more than Minico is going to get beat up, or Blackfoot's going to get beat up in their conference. But yeah, it's going to be a fun race for sure.
Yeah, Middleton had one champion, whereas Highland and Bishop Kelly didn't have one. They Bishop Kelly kids ran into some hammers in the finals, but Middleton had 7 placers, so that's 7 potential placers, if not maybe a few more at state. I know they have a few other kids coming up that are really talented as well. So,
yeah, Al, I was going to ask you about this 5A hierarchy. We know Bishop Kelly, has had a lot of success over the past couple of years, but the way they have to do it, where they've got to squeeze every last point out of a smaller lineup, it is a very tight rope to walk. And you figure at some point the other shoe will drop and a team that's got bigger numbers will be able to surge past. Are we seeing that play out here? Like Brian said, if you had told me Nampa and Middleton, would be ahead of Minico, Bishop Kelly, Blackfoot, like I would have said that's totally backwards to me. But it's playing out right in front of our eyes a little bit.
Well, I saw it early on with Nampa. I saw him at the Capitol duels. I was saying early on, you got to watch this team, because I just saw that they have that hunger, that spirit. These guys they're wrestling hard. So I saw Nampa early on. But as far as Middleton, yeah, they're coming up. But Bishop Kelly, if it was just scoring the top kids, yeah, they definitely would be highly contentious. But now it's going to be very difficult with only 5 or 6 kids.
Yeah, and the one that we haven't talked about a lot because they weren't there is Lakeland. You look at the district matchups. You got Nampa, BK, and Middleton going to beat each other up. Minico, they might be okay in their district. I mean, Jerome's solid though. Blackfoot, it's always a solid conference, but Lakeland might have a shot to sneak some extra kids in and make a run for it too. It's going to be a fun race to watch, that's for sure.
Yeah, I agree.
I know. I was talking to Coach Edelblut from Lakeland when we did the Battle for the Paddle matches, and I said, I think you guys have top 3 potential, and he kind of looked at me and just kind of said, yeah, we feel that way too, and kind of left it at that. And it could be, could be 1, everything would have to break right, but they've definitely got that potential for sure. So Nampa had the 3 champions. Callier, we talked about at 285, Vincent Contreras at 132, and also Ryan Herchard at 113. Herchard, of course, just having a fantastic year as well. I thought maybe the best individual performer, outside of Nampa, of course, Brian, Aiden Takita from Skyline, takes down Holton Crane from BK. I thought that was a really nice victory for Takita.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, between them, they've got 5 state finals together, 3 state championships between the 3 of them. So that was fun to see Crane up. It'd be interesting to see, does Crane stay at 13? Last 2 weeks, he's wrestled 20. Is it growth? Is it BK juggling their lineup? But, you throw Crane in there with Leonard from Lakeland. I mean, that's we talked about it at Raleigh Lane. That's one of those weights to watch. A lot of state titles in there that somebody's not going to be a state champion again.
Yep.
So Brian, you were saying at 126, Scout Scott from Bonneville is a freshman. Isn't Aiden Kaywood from Nampa a freshman? Yeah, those are 2 solid freshmen, because Henry Thomas, I know he's a number 1 in the 3A. He took 4th in that weight. So, once again, highlighting those top incoming freshmen are making an impact early on.
Yeah,
it's great to see.
Yeah, I mean, that's a solid weight with Koa from Burley. Both Keller and Thomas are, state placers multiple times, seniors, and to have 2 freshmen come out on top of that bracket. I think 2 of only 4, maybe 5 freshmen in the finals at the tournament, both just solid. So the future's bright. Scott and Kaywood are going to be fun battles to watch. And Kaywood gave Aiden Takita a solid match at Raleigh Lane. It was a close match until it wasn't, but 2 freshmen definitely keep our eyes on.
So I have a question for you. I mean, at 44s, Ian Avalos, 2-time state finalist, he beat Jax Mesher. Do you see Mesher in the 5A challenge for possible final spot?
Yeah, I think there's definitely a possibility. You look at how this tournament rolled out, and then the unfortunate news in that bracket is Ty Adams, who's been highly ranked, in the top 2 there. Looks like he got hurt. I haven't heard an update of how bad that is. But, his, I guess, JV, I mean, although Boone has beat him, I think they're 1-3, the other Blackfoot kid. But I think Mesher's got a shot. It's interesting because he's been at 38 for a lot of the season. And so, does the older Mesher, Jake, does he stay at 44 and Jax go 38? Again, BK's leaving us with all these questions. We don't know for sure. But I think, that's another freshman, one of those 4 that were in the finals, and definitely worth keeping an eye on because he looked good.
Yeah, it's going to be fascinating to see. In the chat, guys, Greg Staker says, my money is on Nampa this year. That'd be a well-placed bet, I think. Stacia says North Idaho Rumble was top-notch. My dogs think so, too. I don't know if you can hear them barking, but we'll get to the North Idaho Rumble in a second. Adam Byrne in the chat, Scout Scott, freshman at 126, also looking strong. We just talked about him, of course. And here's Crystal Martinez. Shout out to Jerome High School Wrestling. I think the highest placer from Jerome might have been Trey Smith. He took second. Yeah, 215. Lost to McGregor Miller from Madison there. I did want to give a shout out. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, that's an interesting weight. I mean, the top 3 in that weight are tough. I mean, Gage Ponton from Mountain View. I mean, he's a Fargo national champ in the cadets, 16U. He's a tough kid. He's 6A is going to be tough with McGregor, Miller, and him, but Trey Smith definitely the number 1 kid in the 5A.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Brian, I did want to give a shout out as well. Anytime 2 small school guys go to a big tournament like this and perform well and come away with a first place finish, I always love giving the shout out there. Of course, Mac Hall from West Jefferson, West J. We've talked about him a lot this year. He ended up taking first place at 165. But also a guy we haven't talked about a lot, Elijah Dilworth from Soda Springs, takes the top spot at 190, beats Cale Baker from Minico. That's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 2 solid kids. I mean, Dilworth is, he's beat some of the best. He is one of the best. And Mac Hall, that was an impressive match. Obviously, Samson Castillo, a lot of the rankings have him number 1 there at 5A. And Mac Hall, like I was saying earlier, to see somebody, a guillotine is a pretty dominant move. You don't see a lot of times in the finals matches just because it takes patience. It's hard to get to. And to see Mac Hall put him in that and get the fall, in the second period, that was impressive showing by Hall for sure. He's solid.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
And another kid that I've been watching, Jarrett Robinson from Minico, he looked pretty solid there. I mean, he's number 1 in the 5A. That kid's solid. I mean, he's I've been watching him the past couple of years. I mean, he in any division he would be in the mix. Definitely top kid.
Yeah. Earlier in the season, I mean, we talked after Tiger Grizz when he took Neville's out in the semifinals, which is no small feat when you take a nationally ranked wrestler like Neville's out. So Robinson he's legit.
Yeah, he's definitely a top tier kid.
Yep,
really fun one to watch.
Only a junior, correct? I think he's a junior.
Yeah, just a junior.
Yep. So we'd love to see that. Any other last minute Red Halverson thoughts before we move up north to the North Idaho Rumble, guys?
Good tournament. It's fun to see.
Yeah, really fun, really wide mix of teams and results, and not necessarily, the way I thought it would go.
Yeah.
So, okay, let's go to the North Idaho Rumble, hosted by Coeur d'Alene High School, of course. Guys, this was the 16th edition of the North Idaho Rumble. So 16th overall, 13 times Post Falls has walked out of there with the first place trophy. That's pretty good. 13 out of 16, including this year once again, Brian. Pretty good.
Yeah. It was, again, just, Post Falls is dominant, but, Coeur d'Alene, it was, a 5-point difference between the first and second place. So, again, that's a district, they're going to beat each other up a little, and they don't bring a lot of numbers compared to the Boise's. I think Boise gets, 7 or 8 from the district to state, and up north, it's a lot more limited, so they could beat each other up. Coeur d'Alene had a good following, but Post Falls is just, they're solid year after year, just great coaching, and they rebuild every year, it seems like. Had a lot of kids in the finals for sure, so going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, I believe Division III, the Treasure Valley schools like Rocky and Meridian, I think that division sends 9 to state.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a large number.
Yeah.
Al, maybe you could tell me this because you're somewhat plugged into that 6A District 3. We know that the teams that'll contend well in that district. How many teams that are in the middle have a legit chance to play spoiler and could steal bids from a Meridian, steal bids from a Mountain View like that?
After Meridian and Post Falls, Coeur d'Alene, it drops off. Every team after that has a few real solid kids, but there's going to be individuals here and there, but those are definitely the top teams right there. So
okay, yeah, it's just a shame 2 of them are coming from the north, but
right, yeah, it makes it tough up there for sure. You're right, Al. 9 and then 4 from East Idaho for districts 4, 5, and 6 combined. So
yeah, I mean, when we had Nampa, you can say Nampa. I think we have Caldwell now, I think, in the 6A. So they got some hammers too. Caldwell's got about 4 or 5 real solid kids. So they're going to play a spoiler too in the mix. So we've got to keep an eye on them.
Yep. And Pocatello came up to this, the North Idaho Rumble, and they had a duel on Friday night or on Thursday night before the competition began on Friday, which I always like too. And Pocatello can pick up an extra, duel along the way from a team up north. So were there any individual results from this North Idaho Rumble, Al, that surprised you? Or, Matthew Hamilton from Post Falls got the win at 132. We kind of expected that. Brock Armstrong at 190. This kid from Caldwell did pretty good at 215, Liam Roadbush.
Yeah, I got to watch him again at the Rocky Duel. He's a great looking athlete, so he's definitely going to be in the contention for a top medal. Real talented kid. But beyond that, no, everything went on schedule. I didn't see too many things that caught my attention.
Brian is our East Idaho guy. What can you tell me about this 98-pounder from Pokey? Apsisai Tabakichi?
Yeah,
I probably butchered that really badly.
That's my daughter helps coach there, and he has a younger brother on the junior high team too. And I was trying to get her to help me with that pronunciation. So I'm the same way. Really solid state placer last year. He's going to be in the medal contention for sure. Titan Freeman from Shelley looks like right now that's the cream of the crop. But Tabakitsi looked really solid. Yeah, that's going to be he's going to be right up there contending for a medal for sure. Possibly top 3. Going to be fun to watch. And Pocatello's got Bunderson and Archuleta back. Pocatello is going to have 3 or 4 medalists at state, so they're going to put a few points up.
Yeah, he beat Brian Patrick from Lakeland, and he's good. So I mean, that's caused me to pay a little closer attention. So your top 3 were Post Falls, Coeur d'Alene, Lakeland. Caldwell was 4th. Lake City was 5th. Pocatello finishes 6th. Sandpoint 7th. Kellogg, the top performing 3A school, they took 8th overall. And boy, the more I'm looking at it, the more it's kind of like a Post Falls Coeur d'Alene situation here with Kellogg and St. Mary's. Al, they seem to really be pushing each other up north.
Oh yeah. No, everyone started. Now's the time to start peaking as we get to pre-district and state. You're seeing some kids starting to rise to the occasion, and some new names are going to be on the block this year. So brace for it.
Yeah. No doubt. Well, the North Idaho Rumble, of course, had some really fantastic matchups. We did have some smaller competitions going on around the state last week as well. Of course, we've got to mention the R.D. Brown over at New Plymouth, where the winning team? They don't have each individual winner gets that kind of that Pilgrim's hat, right, Al?
Yeah, that's it's very unique. I like it, and just sort of it's great when they do little things like that. Brings back good memories.
Yeah, and that tournament, that's another one. You had Meridian enter a B team, which just shows some of the depth, and that's going to affect the state placings. You had a couple schools around the state. I think Blackfoot wrestled their B team at Sugar Salem and did well with their B team, but Meridian go in there and take 2nd or 3rd with their B team. That just shows the depth of the team there, because that was, Nissa was 2nd there, and Homedale was the top 3A school there, so or 4A, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I can tell you their B team, they're not going anywhere anytime soon. Their B team may be better than some of the teams they had in the past. Some of these kids, some of their best kids on the A team are only sophomores. You look at Neville's, and you got Nguyen, who's up at 215s. He's a freshman, been wrestling out of freestyle and Greco, so they're not going anywhere.
Yeah. I think in 138 they had 3 kids from Meridian in the top 4 placing. I mean, that's 3 out of 4 at 138 from one school. And I think just about every weight, as I looked through it earlier, maybe minus one weight, had 2 Meridian kids place in the top 6.
A room is like, I mean, that's just crazy, right? The competition at practice.
Yeah, you got to look at the room too. They got several coaches that have Division I or collegiate level experience. So these kids are getting top-notch skill training. Their wrestling aptitude is up there. They're learning. It's like they got quality coaching. They have a lot of coaches that can spread that knowledge throughout the room.
Yep, for sure. And then, Brian, you kind of mentioned the battle for the buckle there at Sugar Salem. That's your old stomping grounds. I didn't have a chance to look at too many of the results from that one. I'm assuming a lot of the 4A, 3A schools over in East Idaho went over there.
Yeah. So Malad won it by quite a ways, and Snake River, then Idaho Falls, and then Blackfoot's B team was 4th, Teton Firth. A lot of Malad kids won their weight, obviously, but it was a good mix of kids. I don't know how many champions Malad had, but probably 5 or 6 there. Grace had Butte County has the Cousins kid that won it. So Butte County had a champion, Salmon had a champion, Teton had a champion, and Snake River had a champion. I think Sugar Salem had one. So some good matchups. But a lot of interdivision stuff, Teton, Malad, Idaho Falls, Blackfoot, a good mix of schools. I don't think there were any 6A teams there, but, fun little tournament it looks like, and some decent matchups for sure.
Yeah,
so they get a nice looking rodeo belt buckle. They won the tournament.
Yeah.
I wish they had that when I was wrestling. That'd be great.
Right? Yeah, it's a cool idea. I saw they had belts for the Team Champions Award, big WWE belts. So some cool awards.
Yeah, better than what we had. We had these dinky medals back in the 80s.
Right.
And I think we found our podcast title, Dinky Medals. That'll be good for the audio. Malad had 6 champions here at Sugar. I wanted to shout out a couple of guys that have been kind of in the rankings this year, but we haven't talked about a lot. Damian Palacios from Sugar won the 106 title. And then Terrence O'Connor from Salmon, representing Savages at 120. I got to assume he's related to Raylyn O'Connor, the great girl from Salmon who won the first girls wrestling title in Salmon high history a couple years ago.
I would assume. I saw her dad this week at Big Mountain, and I think she may have a younger sister wrestling as well. So I was going to ask. I'm assuming out in Chalice, 3 O'Connors, they're probably related, and Raylyn's dad was at Big Mountain coaching what I assume is the younger sister. I didn't get a chance to ask, though.
Okay. Yeah. In a small town like that, I mean, sometimes they're cousins, but you're usually pretty – and then, Case Fulmer from Teton, just having a great year as well at 165, picks up another victory there. So, okay, here's Tiffany and Brian Twait, Meridian Strong. Thanks, fellas. No shortcuts with wrestling. Takes a lot of hard work with a sprinkle of good coaching. That is for sure. Okay, guys, before we bring on Fred, because he is patiently waiting to talk girls wrestling, I did want to pass along a couple of 100 win wrestlers that I got in my email box. And again, if you know of a wrestler that's crossed that 100 win mark and, they got the banner and the picture, send it to me, Brandon at IdahoSports.com. We want to share them on the show. So I got this. We talked about this on the show previously, but now I've got the actual picture, guys. This is from St. Mary's. We talked about earlier this year. They had 3 different guys cross 100 wins in their careers. Amato Stewart there in the middle. You've got Harvey on the left there, and then Zach Soten on the right. So that's pretty cool. They all posing with their 100 win banners from earlier this season. And then Aiden Year Out, guys, he picked up 150 wins last week. So 150 career wins for Aiden Year Out of St. Mary's. Al, look at the wingspan on this guy.
Oh, my God. Yeah, it's incredible. Incredible. Yeah, it's nice that they have these banners. There's so many companies now that do this. back in our day, they would have had a piece of sheet paper and they would have written it on there, but that's great. I love it.
Yep. We love to see that for sure. Here in the chat, guys, we've got Jordan Jimenez, Elisa Sorrow from Meridian, crossed 100 career wins just recently as well. So that's a perfect. Go ahead, Al.
Yeah, we talked about that last week, Jordan. Yeah, we posted in last week's episode. So congratulations to her. She's doing a great job.
Yeah, yep. I'm sure we'll talk about it, but she looked good at Big Mountain. She place finish, so sure we'll get there.
Yes, yeah, we're getting there now. We're going to take our break, and when we come back, we'll talk girls wrestling because, we had Big Mountain. We had the North Idaho Rumble on the girls' side, which had some really fun matchups as well. And we're going to break it all down for you. Girls wrestling convo coming your way next. It's the Idaho Mat Chat Prepcast on IdahoSports.com.
As Idahoans, we're not afraid to take risks.
All the way. Go. All the way down.
Driving under the influence is not a risk we're willing to take. Be around to do more of what you love.
Welcome back to the Idaho Mat Chat Prepcast, live on the IdahoSports.com YouTube channel, Facebook page, X account, Instagram account, and the Idaho Wrestling News Facebook page as well. Brandon Maney here with Al Fontes and Brian Zollinger as we are breaking down girls wrestling now in the great state of Idaho. Let's bring on our girls Idaho expert and advocate. Joining us from Southern Idaho is Fred Bartlett. Fred, what's going on?
How's it going, guys?
Doing good.
Doing good. Great to see you. You were also out sick last week along with Brian. Hope you're feeling better.
Yeah, I think it's just the timing of the year. Like just going through a room, everybody gets sick at the same time. So it's the way it goes.
That's right. Well, the big story from girls wrestling this past week, of course, was the Big Mountain down in Burley. What were your big impressions? What were your big takeaways from Big Mountain, Fred?
That tournament just continues to grow. It's pretty cool. I think they had 46 teams there this year.
Wow.
What's interesting to me is that just every week there's a new team that emerges or a new girl that kind of pops out of like somebody that wasn't on my radar. And I'm like, who is this girl? And I got to go stalk her on Track Wrestling and look at all their matches and figure out like where this girl came from. But it's really cool to see like Middleton this weekend did a really good job. They ended up winning the tournament. Rocky was second. Skyline was third. And then Blackfoot, Minico, and Twin were kind of up in there. And we haven't talked a whole lot about Blackfoot, Minico, or Twin. So I find it interesting that every week there's a new team or a new girl that kind of pops out. So the outstanding wrestlers, Molly Ulagi and Maya Bolander, they're having a really good season. The last couple of weeks, they've really come on strong. So it's pretty exciting to see those two.
Fred, I saw, you got Whitney Cawthorpe from Rocky. She's a sophomore, took 6 states. She beat Ali Sponsaro. It was I didn't see the match physically, but I read on it. I mean, that's a big win. That weight's pretty tough. Tell me more about Kyra Cobb from Timberline. Number 4, she beat Ava Buey from Centennial. That girl is tough. So to beat her, this Kyra Cobb, she seems to be really talented to beat Kyra.
Last year she had some wars with Taylor Drake. She had some they went back and forth for a while, and Taylor towards the end of the season started beating her more regularly. But and she's been really tough. She's been putting time in for a while. She comes from a great wrestling family. The Cobbs out from out in Weiser. So her dad's Tim Cobb, who was an All-American for Missouri Valley a couple times. Yep. He might have won a couple times, actually.
I think he did.
Yeah. So yeah, she's tough. She wrestles hard. She hasn't grown much, so that helps her too. She's down at 105, which I kind of thought was crazy at first, but she's maintaining the weight and looks good. So
yep.
And then there's this girl from Prairie. even know Prairie had anybody wrestling. Prairie's Cottonwood up north, and there's a girl from Prairie that's undefeated. What is her first name? Her last name is Shocker. Yeah, from Prairie at 170. Avery Shocker from Prairie she's 25-0, and she came down and won the Caldwell tournament this weekend. So she's trying to get out there and match up with some girls. And I never seen her. I didn't even know Prairie had any wrestlers, so that's pretty cool.
It's Prairie, Idaho, huh?
The school's in Cottonwood, which is up north.
Okay.
So it's a small, like a 1A school. They
Wow.
might be 2A.
Yeah, they're a 2A, Al.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that and I'm like, oh, is that Oregon? I just didn't do any research. What grade is she in?
She's a sophomore.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And anytime you're undefeated this late in the season, like I was just looking through it, there's 6 undefeated girls right now across the state. So she's in some rare company. So you got Roxy Sheen's 38-0, Kyler Scott's 34-0, Charlie Noah's 32-0, Kinsey Williams is still undefeated at 30-0, and then Molly Ulagi is 28-0. All those girls are pretty experienced. So.
Yeah.
Okay, Fred. Removing Roxy Sheen from the equation because you're coaching her at Pure. Which of those other 5 girls do you think has the best chance of still being undefeated when the season's totally over?
Those 5 girls?
Yeah.
I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm going to say all of them are going to stay undefeated.
Okay.
It can't happen though because Schachter and Molly Olagi are in the same weight.
Oh yeah, I wasn't. I would say Molly, Kinsey, Charlie, Kyler, and Roxy. Just I know the time that they've put in the off season, like they'll be tough to beat.
Yeah. Kyler Scott from Century is quickly becoming one of my favorites. I mean, she just gets after it. She's really fun to watch for sure. Here's Tiffany and Brian in the chat. We were talking about Kyra Cobb a little bit. She's legit and is really stepping it up. Congrats, kid. That's from Tiffany and Brian in the chat there. So, yeah, Big Mountain was awesome. Like Fred said, over 40 schools were there competing. The team race was fairly close. Middleton squeaked it out over Rocky, 145 to 142.5. And like you said, Fred, trying to figure out the team hierarchy kind of changes every single week based upon how everybody does.
No, I think there's 6. Like 12 to 15 teams that can be in it for a trophy. Mm-hmm. So it's pretty wild. Thunder Ridge is probably ahead of everybody by a lot, but then after that, man, I bet you there's at least 12 teams that can be in the fight.
Yeah.
So.
Fun for the fans, not so fun for the coaches. That's for sure. That's for sure. Okay, well, let's talk about this Caldwell tournament that was taking place as well down south. This was, like you said, had some pretty good competition. Caldwell, of course, the host school, ended up winning it with 4 first-place finishers. Meridian ended up taking second. What were the big highlights from Caldwell, Fred?
A heavyweight, Maritza Garcia from Caldwell, she keeps going back and forth with Natalia Hubery, and I think Natalia's won like 3 and Maritza's won 2, and they're 2 of the top heavyweights in the state, and it's just interesting to see them go back and forth. Maritza won this round, so we'll see what happens next round, I guess. So just keep going back and forth. So that was interesting. Yeah, overall, like the team race was Caldwell had 27 girls, which is pretty impressive. So they beat Meridian. Meridian was second with 180 points. Caldwell had 263. So they were quite a ways ahead, and then Eagles right in there too. So
yeah,
those 3 teams.
Were you surprised by that result with Caldwell beating Meridian Eagle? I mean, that's 2 top-tier girls teams, and I mean, Caldwell's been on the radar, but did that shock you at all?
Not just the format, this format, and the strength of this tournament, like Caldwell with 27 girls, they're going to score a lot of points.
So, I think they had 17 placers, Fred.
Yeah.
Caldwell.
Yeah.
So another girl I've been watching too is Malia Garcia from New Plymouth at 110. I saw her at state. She seems like she's starting to step it up and will be a contender. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, between her and Taylor Drake and Maya Bolander, that's 3 really solid girls at 110.
Yeah.
Any given weekend, she wrestles hard. She's put a lot of time in the off season, so would expect good things for her.
Yep. Okay. Let's also touch on what happened at the North Idaho Rumble up in Coeur d'Alene. Normally, Val Johansson is kind of our North Idaho girls wrestling expert. She's, of course, the head coach at Sandpoint. She is not able to be here again. Here's a residual. This is kind of cool. Charlie Noah wrestled in the boys 126 at the Caldwell JV boys tournament and won it again. Al, that's pretty good.
Yeah, she's a hammer. She's tough. I mean, she's legit. I mean, they're as tough as they come. So, and she still has growth ahead of her, but she's a competitor.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, North Idaho Rumble. I was really impressed with Taylor Drake from CUNA. She won the 110-pound title. In fact, Val noted that 4 of the top 6 were from the South in terms of a team race there. So also highlights Izzy Stark from Sandpoint, Emma Younger from Post Falls, both hitting 100 career wins during the Rumble on Saturday. She said Tegan Patrick from Lakeland is really starting to shine. She won the 105-pound title. Summer Birch and Cooper went into double OT at 1-1. And Cooper got the win again. And then she said the most exciting weight was 140, both the Friday duels and then the Saturday tournament. 140 pounds was the weight to watch on the girls' side. And then Sandpoint took first, 248 total points. Post Falls was second at 153. CUNA at 149 rounded it out there. Al, were you able to glean anything from that top 3 in the team race?
No, I mean, we hit everything. I mean, it's there's not too. I mean, Caldwell winning. It doesn't surprise me. They looked good at the Jaybird. They have a lot of but they had depth there. And Fred, didn't they count every point of every wrestler at that tournament? I believe
at the Caldwell tournament. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so they have the depth, and with the depth, they're gonna contend for a top 4 at state. So no.
So what about the North Idaho Rumble, Al, with Sandpoint finishing ahead of Post Falls and CUNA?
No, it doesn't surprise me. I mean, it's there's so many, like you're saying earlier, there's so many good teams at any given weekend they can beat each other. So who shows up that day?
Yeah, for sure. Fred, I like it when the teams from the South come up and compete. I thought that was good for CUNA to go up north and play and take on some good competition up north.
Yeah, I appreciate them going up there and trying to get some head-to-heads and just being willing to wrestle anybody anytime. So I think they went up there and dueled the night before. I think they dueled Lakeland and Sandpoint, if I remember right. So they got lots of matches. So what really stood out at the Rumble was Emma Younger being down at 120. I don't think she's lost down at 120 yet. She won a tournament down south last weekend. She won Tiger Grizz. Yeah, she won Tiger Grizz.
Yep.
So, and now she still seems to be dominating, so fitting into 120 real nicely. So, and then the heavyweight, Cassie Voss wrestled Lily Marty. I think this is about the 4th round they've wrestled, and I don't know that Cassie's beat her yet, but she beat her this weekend, so that was a big win. So,
yeah, like Val said, 140 was kind of the weight to watch. Poppy Shank from Lake City got the victory there, and then another one of my favorites, Brian, is CL Sattler from Lapway. She won the 155-pound title, cool too, which was great to see.
Yeah, that is. I've never watched her wrestle, but looks solid for sure.
And again, those small Idaho schools, like Prairie, like Lapway, they may only have one or two girls competing, but they really do a good job with it. So let's get caught up on the comments here. We were talking about Garcia from New Plymouth. Here's Miria. That's my girl. Natalia Cox beat Eagles number 4, Gemma LeBeau, at 140 and 145, taking the top spot at Caldwell. And then here's Amanda Younger in the chat as well. Cassie Voss at 235 beating Lily Marty. That was a match, no doubt about it. Yeah, that was really put her on the map for sure. So that was really great to see. I do have some 100 win photos to share on the girls' side here, guys. I want to make sure we get those in. We talked about from the North Idaho Rumble, Emma Younger from Post Falls picking up 100 career wins, which is great. There's a picture of her and Izzy Stark from Sandpoint as well, both with their 100 win banners. I'm trying to get that loaded in still. And then I got this. This was from a couple weeks ago, but Alina Messerly from West Jefferson crossed 100 wins a couple weeks ago, I believe, over Taylor Brown from Thunder Ridge. So here she is with the nice rose and the 100 win banner. Here she is with, I'm assuming, some family members. And then anytime you get to post with the whole team, Fred, that's pretty cool also.
Yeah, that is cool.
Brian, that's a pretty big roster there for West J. It's only a 3A school. There's a lot of wrestlers in that photo.
Yeah, and they're solid girls team. Obviously, they've got not a lot of numbers, but it's a lot of quality for sure.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So we wanted to pass those along for sure, and I'll try to get that picture in before we wrap it up for sure. And then the other thing that Val was reporting on here, Fred, that I thought was interesting. She said at the North Idaho Rumble, an update was provided from the Girls Wrestling Expansion Committee on possible future expansion of high school girls wrestling. She said, we talked about the current participation numbers for girls in the different classifications, and coaches were asked for input on what the next expansion should look like. Options being explored are splitting into 2 or possibly 3 classifications, and then a coaches poll is expected to go out with further details. And ultimately, this committee will then provide recommendations to the IHSAA board, and then they have to make all of the final decisions on future changes. But this was really exciting news, I thought, Fred.
Yeah, I mean, it has to happen. There's so much growth. Like, got to give more girls opportunities to be state qualifiers, state placers. So it's just a matter of how do you want to go about it. If you look at the numbers, I know Al likes numbers, and you were to split it, it would be 6A, 5A, and then 4A down would split it 3 ways pretty evenly. If you split it right in half with 6A and 5A, it wouldn't split in half, but it'll split in thirds pretty nicely. So I don't know.
Brett, yeah, I was looking at the numbers. So, I mean, we got, 1,020 girls. So if you look at the comparison number per population of the biggest state, California, we're actually above in numbers if you do that ratio. I think most states, I think there's 46 states that have girls wrestling that's sanctioned. Iowa's probably the closest in population that has 2 divisions. Not many states have 2 divisions. They have around 29. Their populations are just over 3 million. Where our population, no, I think Iowa's population around 3 million. We're at 2 million. But participation, they have around 2,900 girls that wrestle in their state. So when you look at our ratio, we're a little bit below that. So have they given you a target number, like when we reach X number, then we'll probably split it? Because it seems like if I go a comparison ratio, that we need around 1,800 girls to be compared to Iowa for a small state. If we went
there hasn't been any talk of like what the threshold would be to split that I'm aware of.
Okay.
I think one of the things you're seeing though is the resources in the bigger schools are far more than they are in the smaller schools. Not a lot of there's not a lot of comparison when it comes to that. So, and you see it in the teams, like the big schools are expanding very quickly because they almost treated their girls program like it's a separate team, where the smaller schools have not been able to do that. They lack the resources to split their teams.
So do you think it would likely go to 2 divisions where you'd have the small schools and maybe the 3, 4A go, then the 5A and 6A go to the other division?
Yeah, if they did something like that, they'd probably have to change the qualifiers for the smaller schools, because probably couldn't justify a 16-man bracket if
What a 12 girl bracket or something like that.
Maybe something like that.
Where number 1 seed, the top 4 seeds get a bye. Yeah, this is good news.
A lot of big school girls that got left home if they did it that way, though.
Yeah.
So, because that's where a majority of the wrestlers are right now, are in the bigger schools.
If they did that, would only the number 1 girl qualify? Can more than 1 girl qualify right now through districts per school?
Yeah.
Like
yeah,
the
you
boys?
can have 2 per weight, just like the boys.
Okay.
So, and then most, like our district, District 4 gets 3 auto qualifiers. I think North gets 2. I'm not sure. The District 5 and 6 are together. I think they get 5. So
yeah,
that's correct. And then I want to say the District 3 gets 5 as well. So there's 1 wild card right now.
These are all good problems to have. I mean, Idaho in just a short time has been correlating with the national growth increase. I mean, this is good news. I mean, this is a good problem to have, and I think at the end of the day, it's only going to get better.
Yep. I will present here in the chat, guys, just because we don't hear this argument a lot, but Jordan says keep it 1 class. He wants to keep it 1 class. And
we both came from a 1 class, 32 women bracket.
He wants 32, Fred. I mean, you'd get more athletes there, but man, that would be a war of attrition. 32 women brackets.
I mean, I grew up in Idaho. I appreciate having the different divisions. On the boys' side, I'd like to see it for the girls. I think it gives more kids opportunities to be state qualifiers, be state placers, and take that back to their communities, where the community is really proud of them. They don't really care what classification it is. Like, if you're a state champion in Ryrie, you're the same state champion as if you were in Meridian to that community. And I think that's important to remember. So I think we can inspire a lot of young girls if we're sending state champions back to those little rural communities.
So Fred, Jordan and I come from the same area in California where it had 1 division, 950 high schools. You got to go through 2 to 3 qualifiers to get to state. It's a grind. The reality is, whether you go divisions or 1 division, only 1% goes on to college. That doesn't change that. The cream always rises to the top. So like you said, to give more opportunities for kids to excel at the prep ranks, only 1% is going to go on to college regardless. So either way, it's helped grow the sport. I like both single, but I also like divisions as well, especially for the growth of the sport. Keep more kids out.
And I just argue that with Raleigh Lane, Tiger Grizz, Big Mountain now, like, we're seeing these girls are competing across, and they would continue to compete across classifications. Like, you're going to know, similar to the boys, like, you know who the studs are.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and the top tier kids, they're going to college, are going to Super 32. They're going to Fargo. They're going to Folkstyle. They're going to the Dixie Duels. They're going to those levels of tournaments where really they're being noticed at that level. So, I personally think girls should be 2 divisions, but, until we go over 2,000 girls. But no, whatever's good for the sport, it'll work itself out.
Yep, agreed. Here's getting caught up on the comments here. Tiffany and Brian say agree. Talking about splitting it up. This is the next best step. If we split, it will really deplete it. The competition is really getting good. Oh, so they're in agreement with Jordan. Okay, I read that wrong. Okay, and then Jordan says we may have the growth, but we don't have the depth yet. Amanda says there was discussion about 8-man brackets if we split potentially quality over quantity.
Mhm.
I don't know. I guess that would almost defeat the purpose because you're wanting. Well, I guess for those smaller schools, it's really quality over quantity. I mean, because they're not filling out a full lineup, I guess. So, yeah, I don't know. What do you think about that, Fred? 8-woman brackets instead of 16.
If they went 8 and they only split to 2 divisions, you're not gaining much, right? You still have 16 qualifiers. I guess you get a couple more state placers. They'd probably place the top 4. Like if you did 3 divisions and went 8, it might make sense. You'd have 24 state qualifiers and a couple more state placers there. So
yeah.
I think most of the coming from a smaller school, like we got 7 wrestlers, and we can compete because we have 7 wrestlers that have been doing it for a while. But that's not every case for those small schools. So they got 2 or 3 wrestlers like a West Jefferson. They got 3 hammers. They're never competing for a team.
Yeah.
Team race.
So, Fred, come from one division state tournament. It is great to watch that competition. It's like watching the Big Ten. I'll tell you, California, you get into medal matches in the top 12, it's brutally tough. But the reality is of 950 high schools, 5 teams produce 45% of the medals, okay, of the 112 medals. There are so many. There's kids going 2-2 that are good enough to go to college that don't think they're good enough. So it's good. I mean, it has its pros and cons. But if the goal is to give participation and give these kids the opportunity and grow the sport, then divisions is good too. So either way, it's depending on how you look at it.
While we're talking state tournaments, Fred, how's the girls dual state tournament shaping up? Have you heard an update how many schools we've got or who's going?
The last I had heard, there were like 15 schools. The top schools that I know of were Eagle, Thunder Ridge. Who else was coming? I don't think CUNA was in there. Both Twin Falls and Burley filled the full lineup. It's a little bit different with the duels. Like we don't fill the. We have 7 girls. Like we got to win every match in the duel.
Right.
So, it's a little bit different in the dual setting. So a team like Twin could do really well. They fill all the weights with solid girls. So does Jerome. So I could see them doing well, and they'll both be there. So yeah. Thunder Ridge will be very hard to beat because they fill the weights with a lot of hammers. So
they're definitely the hands-on favorite, I would say.
Yeah. The last I checked, they were trying to get Idaho Falls there. That would be good. They fill the weights well. So they have lightweights and upper weights that can wrestle. So I'm excited for that. It's something different. I like new different. So
that'll be fun.
Yeah. A couple of comments to get caught up on, and then we'll kind of look ahead at what's coming up. Amanda was talking about, if we split it 3 ways, 8-man brackets on the girls' side. Jordan says, I see both sides of the argument for sure, but I think it diminishes the value of a state medal or title when you only had to compete against 8 girls at the state tournament. But at that smaller level, it's going to be hard to fill 16. Like if it ends up being like a 3A, 4A, I mean, it's going to be hard to fill 16 slots, right, Fred? At least initially in each weight class.
Yeah, if they were to do 3 divisions, it would be pretty tough to fill all 3 with 16-man brackets.
Yeah, it'd be hard.
I could just see people trying to burn down the house if we did 16 in one division and 8 in another division. So probably want to keep them the same. So, I don't know.
And we got to remember logistics too. I mean, this state tournament can only be so big. So yeah.
Here comes Al the auditor to remind us all that
it's all the math. I mean, the auditor.
Gotta like that for sure. Okay, let me see if I can share this picture on my screen. I couldn't get the photo to download, but this is the picture of Emma Younger from Post Falls and Izzy Stark from Sandpoint, both with their 100-win banners. I can make that a little bit bigger. Yeah, that's as big as I can make it, but that's pretty cool. They both did that at the North Idaho Rumble this past weekend, so congratulations to both of those young ladies there. Okay, what's coming up this week? We want to hear from all of you in the chat. This is the time of the show where we preview what's coming up ahead, because we're getting down to the end of it here, guys. There's not much runway left in the regular season. Districts are going to be starting before we know it, and state is later this month. We are into February, so kind of crazy to think about. So let me know in the chat where your school is headed this week in terms of competitions. Fred, on the girls' side, what obviously we talked about the duels, but what is there any other girls' competitions we should be keeping an eye on?
Yeah, Pocatello's hosting a girls' tournament to coincide with the Fleischman duels, so there'll be a lot of those smaller Eastern Idaho teams over there, I think. So looks like it'll be good competition. I don't know about what anything happening up north. It's kind of winding down. This is kind of the last week of competition, I think, for a lot of people, and then get ready for districts. So our boys will be in Weiser. Weiser's always a fun tournament. So it's like a weird mixture of teams. There's some 6A and 5A, like Bishop Kelly will be there, Snake River's there, from all over the state. It's just always interesting. Mountain View's there. It's just a weird combination of teams. It's fun though, because it's just different kids that you don't get to see all the time.
That's how state is. So it's well, on the girls' side. It looks like the Coral Sugiyama Classic in Pocatello on the girls' side there. Up north, we've got the Conrad Garner Invite hosted by Bonners Ferry. They're going to have a boys and a girls competition all the way up in Bonners Ferry, pretty much in Canada. It looks like Chalice is hosting a tournament on the girls' side, the Mario Durazio tournament in Chalice. It'll be interesting to see what teams go over there. In the chat here, we got all sorts of, this is boys and girls. Tyson says Fruitland's going to be at the Weiser Invite, 37th annual Weiser Invite. This is kind of cool. Moscow is going to do a boys duel with St. Mary's between the JV and varsity basketball games. I would love that if they would incorporate that more, basketball and wrestling together on the same night. I think it's really cool. Amy says Middleton and BK tomorrow at Middleton for senior night. Get your popcorn ready, Al. That's going to be a fun one.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, it's going to be great. It's going to be a good match.
Yeah. Looks like Post Falls is going to go up to the Conrad Garner tourney in Bonners Ferry. That's what Amanda says. Yep, Conrad Garner and Bonners Ferry. And Tiffany and Brian say Meridian girls will be at the state duels and the Kimberly Invite. We are ready to announce our presence. All right.
It's another team with a good shot. I mean, they've got a almost full lineup there too, and some really solid girls.
Yeah.
So, Brandon, I like to end on at least my part. Just today I got the National Girls High School rankings. Billy Buckheit, he does it for Sports Illustrated. We got 5 Idaho girls ranked in the top 30. We got Kiana Conrad, number 15, Olivia Betchcheck Jerome at number 12, Brooklyn Anderson from Coeur d'Alene at number 25, Molly Alagi, Skyline, she's number 26, and then Shauna Anderson, Thunder Ridge, is honorable mention. Now, just keep in mind, I think we got several more other girls that are just as good to be ranked, but they're not being ranked because they may not have competed at some tournaments where they get more opportunity to beat those girls. So I venture to say we got at least 5 more girls good enough to be in those rankings. They just haven't, exposed their talents yet. But no, that's pretty good for the state of Idaho. Kudos to those girls.
Yeah, that's outstanding for sure. A couple of comments here, and then we'll wrap up the show. Barack Steele says Weiser 144 is going to be neat, or should be, if everyone goes to their competitive weights. Big if there, Brian. That's for sure, as we're learning. Amanda, we're talking about Bonners Ferry. She says, don't miss your turn in Bonners Ferry. You do end up in Canada. Just telling for a friend. So Meridian and Cuna going to have a duel tomorrow night, which is going to be great. Chris said that as well. Cuna and Meridian at home tomorrow. Let's go Cave ladies. And here's Cindy Critchlow. I really enjoy watching this program. My Taylor Brown is in her senior year, and I'm going to miss watching wrestling. Well, hopefully Taylor's wrestling somewhere at the next level. Which, again, Al, is a perfect segue into just an updated list. You did get a couple of more names to add to the list in terms of college commits. Here's our updated list of who is signed where. And again, as you hear about more wrestlers that are signing to go to the next level, we want to hear about it for sure. So here is the updated list. Damian Hamilton going to North Idaho College, joining Aiden. You're out. The names in red are the new additions, correct, Al?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And Dylan Frothinger from Eagle. I feel like he's been there forever, but maybe I'm just because he's been an impact from day one.
Right.
Him and his brothers. Yeah. His brother was tough.
Yeah, for sure. So Dylan Frothinger going to Eastern Oregon University as well. So pretty good list there. And again, we want to keep adding to it. And so as you hear about more wrestlers that are signing to go to that next level, go ahead and send me an email, Brandon at IdahoSports.com. We'll make sure they get added to our database. So, all right. With that said, that is going to do it for this edition of the Idaho Mat Chat Prepcast. Fred, as always, thanks for coming on and talking girls wrestling. We really appreciate it. Brian, I hope you continue to get better.
Appreciate it. We'll see you all this weekend, some tournament somewhere, I hope.
For sure. Al, don't have too much fun out there. You going to go to any of these duels down in the Treasure Valley?
I don't know. I'll be busy doing some more writing. I got a lot of writing going on, some other ventures. So if I can break away, I will.
Okay. That sounds like a plan. Well, wherever you're at this weekend, we wish you the best of luck in competition. And don't forget, the Idaho Mat Chat Prepcast will be back once again next week. Stay tuned for date and time. We may have to change it based upon some other broadcasts I'm doing, so we'll talk about that offline. But it will be next week at some point, so stay tuned to IdahoSports.com for all the details there. Thanks for tuning into the Idaho Mat Chat Prepcast. For Al Fontes, Brian Zollinger, and Fred Bartlett, I'm Brandon Baney. We'll see you next time on IdahoSports.com.